Hey guys, this is Mind Over Body Fitness, home of CrossFit MOB. I'm Coach Gobbs, this is Coach CJ. Today we're going to be talking about the barbell overhead squat. Some good videos to reference is going to be our air squat video that we posted previously and our power snatch video that we posted previously. All right, CJ is going to demonstrate a good overhead squat for us, starting from the ground. In order to take it from the ground, he's going to do a power snatch to get it overhead. Awesome, now we're ready to talk about the overhead squat. All right, Coach CJ is going to demonstrate a couple reps for you guys. Nice, very good, thank you CJ. So, some things to talk about in the overhead squat. It's gonna be starting position. All right, so you guys noticed in order to get it overhead, he has to power snatch it. Like I said, we can reference that video we did previously. Let's go ahead and get it overhead. All right, so in our starting position of the overhead squat, we want our feet in our squat stance. You can reference our air squat video we did earlier, but it's just right outside the hips. Here he's got that nice wide grip, same grip as his power snatch. His elbows are locked, hips are open, knees are straight. Now he's going to start his squat. So the hip crease is going to go back then down. He squats below parallel, getting that hip crease lower than the knee. He's going to drive through the middle of the foot and stand it all the way up until his knees are straight, hips are open, elbows are still locked. The barbell path in an overhead squat should be straight up and down. Excellent. All right, finished position, knees are straight, hips are open, elbows are locked. All right, let's talk about some common errors that we might see in the overhead squat. All right, number one is gonna be incorrect setup. His squat stance, right? He's not standing in his normal squat stance. Our squat stance should be universal. So our air squat should be the same squat stance as our overhead squat. As you can see, he is now in a wider stance than he would normally squat. This is gonna make the movement harder and also put him in incorrect body position. If he tries to perform a squat here, this is gonna be very challenging for him. All right, as you can see, it makes him drop his chest more, his knees cave in. Another common mistake would be if his feet are too close together. This is gonna make the movement increasingly more difficult. Now he's gonna have a hard time hitting depth. All right, so common fix for this is we're gonna tell our athlete, hey, let's go ahead and wind up that stance to our squat stance. Awesome, nice comfortable stance for him, perfect. All right, next thing is gonna be incorrect overhead position, right? Your grip might be too close. This makes overhead squatting very difficult, right? It takes more range of motion. So what we wanna do is tell Coach CJ, hey, let's go ahead and widen that grip up a little bit. Ideal grip is the barbell is gonna be about 6 inches above the back of the head. So he's widened his grip, got it, and that looks about 6 inches, much more comfortable grip for him. Another common mistake with the grip is too wide, right? If his grip's too wide, this is gonna bring the barbell unnecessarily close to his head, right? CJ's nice and tall, so it doesn't touch, but if you're a shorter athlete, it's probably gonna touch your head. So we wanna maybe bring that in, so it's about 6 inches above the back of the head. All right, so let's go ahead and correct that grip. All right, great grip here. All right, another common error that we might see in the overhead squat is incorrect range of motion. This is usually where we're not squatting low enough in the movement, right? So he goes down and he stops above parallel and stands it back up, right? The hip crease doesn't get below the knees. We're gonna ask CJ, hey CJ, I want you to squat a little bit lower so your hip crease gets below your knee. And another common error is not standing all the way up, right? So he has great depth, but maybe in the workout he's not standing all the way up. As you can see, the hip doesn't open on each rep here. These are not good. We need to CJ stand all the way up. There we go. Now his hips are open, knees are straight, arms are locked. All right, this is a great finished position of the overhead squat. Last common error that we're gonna talk about in the overhead squat is the overhead position. All right, this is actually one of the most important positions of the lift. We need good overhead position to lift safely and effectively. As we're performing the overhead squat, we might see the chest drop, which is gonna cause the armpit to go towards the ground and the inner part of the elbow to face straight forward. All right, if this happens, this puts ourselves in a very dangerous situation for not only the elbow, but the shoulder joint as well. So CJ can demonstrate this. I don't recommend doing this. His chest drops and you can see the armpit faces the ground and the elbow is facing a bad position. This is a very dangerous position for the overhead squat. So our correction is gonna be to work with the athlete to make sure they have the range of motion and tell them, I want you to keep this part of your elbow pointed towards the ground. I wanna see your armpits the whole time. All right, you're gonna do that by tightening the muscles in your upper back. Now you can see armpits in a much better position, elbows in a much better position. Great correction for that overhead squat. This is the ideal position with overhead squats. We do not ever want that internal rotation of the shoulder. It puts your shoulder in a compromised position. All right, so that is another correction that we have, just making sure we're moving safely and correctly in the overhead squat. All right, thank you, CJ. Sorry. I asked you if you wanted to lighten it up. If you like what you saw, you can get more of our content either on our social medias at CrossFit MOB, or you can visit our website, crossfit-mob.com. Or if you're in the area, we'd love to have you. Your first time here is free. We'd love for you to come check us out and see if you like it for yourself. Thanks, guys.